Palantir Technologies has been a very strong stock, guys, and a leader amongst a very hot current market. Since breaking out of this cup and handle structure to the upside, we have seen a lot of continuation from Palantir, and it does appear to be more had. My name is Dylan from Dylan's Trade. We're going to get straight into this technical analysis over on the weekly. Over on the weekly analysis, guys, there's really only a few things we need to take away. In some certain factors and situations, we have a more simple image of stock price, and that's currently what we have today. The main story on the chart is this blow off top around the $125 level, which is the neckline for this cup and handle structure we've been following over the last, around month and a half or so. We knife down, pull up to this level before rejecting once and twice. At one point, this big hammer candle was a very big wide bar, the exact similar to this one. So sellers were targeting a double top like structure to get a good risk reward setup for a short sell. What did stock price do? We squeezed above, we popped below that for a little bit, but we held that for 1-2 weeks, ultimately taking off. We continued to mention over the past few weeks that we were continuing to see these wicks continue to move higher and higher, which is a bullish trend in nature. We're still seeing that as of today, guys, right? This current weekly candle is a little bit below this one, but not a big deal. As long as we keep seeing these higher lows being set, there's not really a lot of short-term indication for a pullback. That being said, though, we did mention in the last video, slightly overextended with this inverted hammer candle in the short-term analysis about 4 days ago. We expected a little bit of a pullback. We currently are seeing that. As of now, though, we got that big wide bar to break out really of this range. We're holding over this neckline formation quite well, really consolidating, getting that bullish confluence. Right, we had that bullish engulfing, pressing over, testing this support level, previous a resistance one more time with the bullish engulfing, and now we're holding that for 1-2 weeks. Notice how this candle is now green, and the open and close is a little bit higher, meaning that we've got a little bit more strength over the current week. With that being said, it does appear that we could have more upside soon, being that we're compressing for 1-2 weeks after a major bounce from this neckline formation. So you definitely got to lean bullish, guys, moving into the next few weeks. We've set a $150 price target on Palantir stock. Right, we're in this handle formation, and we did get the break up very shortly. Right, it did take a little bit more time than we expected, but ultimately we are about $5 in price action away from a peak from that $150 level. Something to keep in mind, guys, is that Palantir has never been at these levels. Right, when we flip over to the monthly analysis, it gives you a great representation that stock is currently in what we call, quote unquote, blue sky territory. While these, especially high flying stocks, are in these all-time highs, keep an eye on these psychological levels. We did have $145 and $150 marked up. Notice how stock price had a lot of strength, rising very, very quickly since we reversed over the neckline, pushing up 18% and perfectly stopping 14 cents away from 145. So straight away, we'll be keeping on these two psychological levels. The main price target, which we have been watching since these lower levels, is that big $150 psychological level. So that's $100, $50, right? This is the next big psychological level we really got to keep an eye on. So with that being said, guys, it does look very, very nice. I think the story of Palantir has been, fake breakouts leading into the real one. Notice how we had this nice tight channel, which we did remove as it's not relevant anymore. Pressing down, we boom, got the breakout, but we did get the rejection right back at its previous level. Right, we had 1, 2, 3, 4 days pressing against, flipping beneath. We mentioned on the update on this candle right here that if we flipped up over that, we can't get that short seller-like effect, as whenever they try to get in and step in, they ultimately keep getting squeezed to the upside as they did over here as well. So we did see that happen. We squeezed up over and we reclaimed this level. As of now in the daily analysis, guys, this is really the number one level we want to watch. As we've had a lot of energy building phase within this handle, right? We get the hard breakout, and we completely 180 this level, right? Boom, completely 180. We grind up. We have a lot of energy here, guys. Retesting the neckline. Boom, reverse once again. So, as of now, once again, even in the last week, we have 1, 2, 3 touch points. So that 133.50 to really that rough 133 to 144, $134 level. It's a rough zone. So as long as Palantir is trending over that, it looks good. We're basing quite well, a couple dollars over that. So as a buyer, you got to feel like there's a little bit of insurance here. Even if stock price does pull down, which I do believe is unlikely, we'll get into that, and bounces at this level, we have this very harsh, very heavy support, which we can bounce upon. So, guys, we said that over here, anywhere over this level looks good on this candle, and we continue to trend out pretty nice. So we currently are pinching in a squeeze, better seen on the hourly. But on the daily analysis, guys, let's not overanalyze it. We did have a little bit of a short-term extension with this, which we did expect a pullback. And as of now, we're just spring-loading like phase. We don't want to look too much into this candle. We're currently seeing stocks sit for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 days. Just spring load for the next move. Likely to be at least at maximum 1 to 2 days until we make a move and either push up higher to 150 or retest this level. So we acknowledge on the daily, guys, we got that strong break over that key level. We're currently building energy for the next movement for the next week of price action. Palantir Technologies, guys, has been very, very responsive to these panic and descending like resistance structures in general, especially in the hourly analysis. Right, we did have a trend line over here, which we didn't delete, which is not relevant anymore. Notice how when we press out in these channels, guys, there's just a lot of volatility. And this is where traders really like to step in, especially being that we, false broke from this major neckline support. We knifed up, came down, retested it, broke over, and boom. Very nice price action movement. Not only did we get the upside breakup, but we got the casual break and retest and the false break all at once. So that being said, though, I mean, we've seen a couple of these structures just over the last few weeks, right? First and foremost being this handle, right? Got that nice upside. Was short-lived, but we did see a very quick rise in price action of around 12%. Led by another one of these nice channels moving up. Right? This one being more of a sloping type channel, but we pressed out in these obvious constraints, and we did get the breakout. This one's short-lived once again, guys, but, they do offer at least around a day or two of nice price action. When we did break out, we did reach at a high about 8% in price action, and that's when we had some very stubborn resistance up here. So to see a very obvious flagpole-like structure on the hourly analysis, and now we're pinching out with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 touch points, and you can move this a little bit, guys. There's some traders that move it a little bit different, but it's a rough zone within this vicinity and these highs. A strong close over this hourly resistance at that 141, really. We can see the price action continuation. Likely to just come up and test 150, guys. First and foremost, we'll revisit these highs, but, this is a very nice structure, guys. And, we've had a couple wick outs, so definitely be careful on that. Stock price will creep over this for a little bit, for, 20 minutes or so. We'll creep over it again. So there's been a couple wick outs, so wait for the strong confirmation, but it definitely looks very, very nice. And even from a short-term analysis, we see how it's really getting tight on the top of this pennant. Likely not to come down and retest. I think we'll get the breakout leading early into next morning, right? If not, watch for the bounce at the bottom of this pennant and bounce around. We will follow this as it transpires live, but we can only move around within this pennant structure for maximum about 8 hours. So looking at these current constraints in the price action, we do expect this breakout to retest $150. And yeah, guys, so let's jump to the 5-minute. Yeah, better seen on the 5. When I see on the hourly, I have a great eye for these because I used to trade this strategy for a few years back in the day. Notice how stock pinches up and it's getting really, really tight, as we mentioned. Better seen on the 5-minute. We're seeing some really nice bullish divergence with just a really clean flag, guys. When we see this double confirmation pressing against this overall structure, it really just shows you what you want to see, guys. And we had this hard knife down 180. But man, the reoccurring trend with Palantir is when we have a harsh dip, it looks like the buyers got trapped. They step right back in and do their job. But as of now, things look very, very good. It doesn't appear we'll get the breakout moving into tomorrow, or at least the next day, right? If we do confirm this pennant to the lower, likely to move down to this big resistance level, now turn support, as we mentioned. Notice how when we got over this huge resistance in the past, which was really a problem for us, guys, right? We came up in this descending channel, we came down and tested it perfectly, and boom. So further validation of why that is so key. But as of now, guys, in conclusion, we do expect this pennant breakout on the microanalysis to push us towards $150, or at least retesting these highs around 145. Palantir looks great from every single analysis, from the daily, hourly, weekly, and even the 5-minute chart. Stock price looks very, very primed in our $150 price target. We did set around these lower levels. Looks to be hit very, very soon. With that being said, guys, I hope you guys have a good day. Take care, trade smart, and peace.